What is up, guys? It's Amir from Panelfly here. And today we're going to be breaking down the new episode 2 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Oh man, it was a pretty good episode. We're still setting things up. So a little bit slower, but I believe episode 3 is where the action starts picking up. One, because it is halfway through the season already. It is crazy. I mean, we're only have a 6 episode season, so episode 3 is already halfway through the season. Pretty wild. Um yeah, kind of sucks, but nonetheless, we'll have House of Dragons coming up here in the summer. Should be pretty exciting. And it was a pretty good episode. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Um, and before we do, actually, real quick, if you've been liking my content, guys, please subscribe. It really helps me out. And comment below your thoughts. Comment below what the content you want to see and whatnot, and kind of go from there. But we'll break down the episode, and then we'll break down the episode 3 trailer at the end. It's an episode 3 trailer, but it's also kind of other scenes throughout the season. So we'll go ahead and break that down. And let me share my screen and let's get started here. Shall we, guys? So this episode was called Hard Salt Beef. And essentially, that's because that's the diet of a hedge knight is essentially beef jerky. The only difference is they had to preserve it with salt. Where here we just dehydrate our meat. So they have a pretty salty piece of beef jerky they eat. Sure, it's not good at all. And we'll see Sir Arlen and Dunk share a little moment where they're eating it and they just start laughing because I'm sure it's just so bad. Um, but anyways, we actually start off the episode with the little NSFW content from Sir Arlen. It's funny. It's kind of how they've been starting both episodes. Dunk taking a dump, and then Sir Arlen taking a piss. So I don't know if that's going to be a pattern where they just kind of open up with NSFW to like kind of counteract themes and also just to build the world and show obviously what type of world this is. But it's kind of we've been having that pattern of we open up with Dunk with Sir Arlen, or at least of a flashback of some sort, and then we end the episode with Dunk with Egg at night back at their little campsite by the tourney. So it's kind of how we've been starting and ending both episodes, and I'm not too sure if they're gonna keep that pattern going. So it's kind of interesting. But essentially, we open up with talking to one of the lords. I believe he's a vassal lord, or maybe actually, I think he might be Lord of Highgarden. I honestly forgot already at this point. But he's trying to convince him and telling him, "You remember Sir Arlen, right? He's the best knight. He's noble, this and that." And then the guy just goes, "No, I don't."
Sired no children.
Up to as fit to see if they're made. Hey ho, hey ho.
So he's just singing a song about basically being horny. He's trying to go see a fair maid. And basically, Dunk sees Sir Arlen every time he tells the story of Sir Arlen. He's the most noble guy ever. He's a squire, and he's Sir Arlen's his master, and he's the best knight, and this and that. He taught him to be brave. But when we really see Sir Arlen in the flashbacks, he's with a whore. He's thinking about whores. He's doesn't really seem to care too much for Dunk. In fact, he probably just took him because he was tall and he needed a squire. He was getting old, so he needed help. And then we see that towards the end of the episode where Dunk is like, "Man, I really don't know if Sir Arlen's the type of knight I thought he was, but either way, he raised me, and I'm going to show them in the tourney that he was the guy who I say he is." So it's kind of this conflicting moment of Dunk, like saying, like, who did I really grow up with? Is he really as noble as I thought? Should I be more like him or not be more like him? And then it's also like, is he going to start to hate him, resent him? But then he also uses it as fuel. So actually, it's kind of a little bit conflicting in the writing, which honestly I was like, that's a little bit interesting. But either way, we get their point. But I actually didn't think the writing was that great for this part.
I'll make my love and the rest in the shade. Hi-ho!
Oh, also sorry if my audio sounds different. I'm not in my home office, so I'm not using my microphone. But anyways, we get the
Come
gist.
on, Doug!
Basically, this is like essentially probably the days before Sir Arlen was dying. We see that he had a cut on his arm earlier in the scene that I had to skip for obvious reasons, and it looks like he died from infection from that cut, and he's slowly waning and waning away.
A sweet kiss on the point of
And
my
he's still
blade.
singing this song about being with Or, basically.
How's Tyrell?
And so here he is.
Sir Erlen often spoke of his time in your service as
Okay, so he's talking
his
to
very
Lord
finest.
Tyrell.
He said it was you, my lord, who told him that a hedge knight was the bridge between lords and the small folk.
And we just see he's not going to help him out. And then Egg is like, "What the hell are you doing? Like these guys, screw these guys. You don't need their permission. Just you're a knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Just do what you need to be." But obviously, Dunk did not put himself in that position, and obviously, we will find out. Egg is brash. Egg is smart, and all these reasons for certain reasons that we'll get into probably in the next episode. We'll see the big reveal. And again, there should be more action because they've been building out these 2 episodes, character development. Because in the books, I believe actually House Targaryen was introduced in that technically what would be the first episode, but they're going to be introduced in this episode because we want to take time and breathe with some of the characters. We don't want to introduce too many characters. So they're introduced in this episode, which I actually think was better.
Fuck their permission, rise into the list, call out Longthorn Tyrell, and perhaps I should.
So Egg was just saying, like, I'll stay with you, be with your horse. A squire should never leave his knight. And all of a sudden, the Targaryens are in town, and Egg is like, oh, perhaps I should go back to the camp and check on it. And this is the funny part we see in the whole
Go back,
trailers
sir.
about
Check on the camp.
dogs and stuff.
Make sure no thieves have been nosing about.
Aye, I have an idea.
Firstborn son of King Darren the Good.
So Darren is the king currently, who I don't believe we'll see in this show, but we'll see. I'm not too sure. And his son is Baelor and Maekar. And Baelor is darker haired because his mom is actually a Dornish woman, and Maekar actually has the hair of a normal Targaryen, even though I believe his mom is the Dornish woman too. But Baelor is the hand of the king, who will be introduced to, and he is next in line to be king. And Maekar is the youngest brother. They have another brother who I forgot who he is, but Maekar is actually the youngest brother, even though he looks the oldest, who I'll show here in a second.
Prince of the Dragonstone, hand of the king, and heir
That's
to the
Baelor.
Iron Throne.
Baelor Targaryen. He's hand of the king and next
And his
in
brother.
line.
Mirka.
And this is
My Lord of Ashford.
Maekar. He's actually younger
Great
than
honor
Baelor.
to receive your grace. It's a great honor to be.
But yeah, he's Maekar is technically supposed to be younger than Baelor here, but he doesn't look like it.
My daughter, Gwen.
Now Dunk has just met Arion, who is the son of Maekar. And he's kind of the antagonist. He is, a bad guy and an asshole, but he's not as bad as like a Joffrey or a Mad King or something like that.
Oh.
And they have a very interesting conversation. And I'm not going to go through everything. You need to go watch the episode. But they have a funny little conversation here, basically.
Knighthood has fallen on sad days.
She just got a bit excited, that's all.
He meant the princeling, not the palfrey.
So Arion just literally gave his horse up and did not even care, just left it there. And so Dunk actually helped the horse. So this shows his character and how he's good with horses and animals and things like that. But now he's getting introduced to 2 knights in the Kingsguard, and they're wearing what's supposed to be the traditional white Kingsguard, where in Game of Thrones they made it gold. I'm guessing because the Lannisters Jaime Lannister was head of the Kingsguard. And then in House of Dragon, they're like more silver. Here they're like, this is white and traditional to the books.
Excuse me, my lords.
I'm Sir Duncan the Tall.
Well met. I'm Sir Roland Craycole.
So now Dunk is actually finally introducing himself as a knight, who he wants to be. He's getting more and more comfortable with being a knight and who he wants to be in the story he's portraying and the future he wants for himself. So now he's getting more comfortable. So this is actually good character development. And here we meet one of the lords of Krakenhall, I believe, who is, introduced in Game of Thrones and House of Dragons every now and then.
This is my sworn brother, Sir Donald of Duskendale.
Sir Donald of Duskendale, same for him. These are big houses. And let's see what happens here. Or maybe not.
Gods, boy. Do you ride your horse into battle, or does it ride you?
Forget Sir Roland. It's not often he must look up to cast his eyes down.
Yes, I'm quite the rascal. Now tell me, Sir Duncan, is there a proper place to shit around here?
Not really, no.
A man of such birth has never deigned to disturb his arsehole with age.
So they kind of look like they're starting to become friends, and this is going to become important later.
He'll deign before the week is out, I'd wager.
Where are you from, man? You don't smell house bread.
No. And so basically they have a conversation here about, he realizes that Dunk is a hedge knight, and he basically says, oh yeah, my family, Duskendale, Lord of Duskendale says, my house is crabbers. We're lowly people too. And Dunk is like, wait, what? How did you become in the Kingsguard then? And he's like, the same way we became crabbers. So Dunk is thinking he's became in the Kingsguard through hard work since he's a lowborn. But we'll come to find out the joke is on Dunk because his family owns basically half of the crabbers in the kingdom. So he's actually a rich boy.
Place, really. No.
Then would you move the fuck out of the way?
Here we saw this in the trailers.
Apologies.
So Dunk sees Gwen, the daughter of, I believe it's Gwen, the daughter of Lord Ashford, go through this little alley, which is actually a little bit different than in the books. But anyways, he goes ahead and follows her. And
probably dead.
So basically now he's overhearing, listening in on Maekar and Baelor, and the daughter of Lord Ashford, Gwen, I believe, basically sees him and says, oh, his sons are missing. So Maekar has 3 sons. One of them is Arion, who we're just introduced to. And then he has 2 other sons who are missing, who we'll find out in this next episode who they are.
Wars have started for
Rhaegal. Private community sooner ride a whore than a horse.
That is not what I said.
Oh, I do not need to be reminded of my son's failings.
And basically, Maekar is, besides Arion, he is not a fan of his sons. He's kind of like Samuel Tarly's dad, where he doesn't want them to be nerds or whatever. He wants them all to be warriors. And so we kind of learned that through this conversation. Maekar is kind of like, he's an asshole, and Baelor he's stern and studious, but he's a good guy overall.
Can change. He will change. Gods be damned. Who? What the fuck is going on?
So now here's Dunk. I mean, this man is putting himself. I mean, this is what you need to do. If you're a startup, an upstart, whatever, this is what you need to do. Put yourself in every scenario and situation to meet these high lords. But it's like, dang, bro, now you're talking to the hand of the king. It is crazy.
We are the intruders here, brother. Come closer, sir.
And others too. You see, they say they know not Sir Erlen of Pennytree, but he served them. I swear it. I have his sword and shield.
And so he's basically trying to go to Baelor to vouch for him, because they actually did fight together in the last Targaryen Civil War, which was like 15 years ago. What's it called? The Blackfire Rebellion, the first one. And Baelor is actually a kind lord. He's a good guy overall. So he's going to him to say, hey, do you remember Sir Erlen of Pennytree? and which we'll see here that Baelor does. They actually also sparred together an attorney where he actually lost. Sir Arlen Pennytree lost, but he actually gave Prince Baelor a running for his money because he didn't just let him win. He actually tried to beat Prince Baelor, and Prince Baelor respects that.
Sword and shield do not make a knight.
He never won a tourney that I know.
So there's that.
The Grey Line. He's Lord of
And so now Prince Baelor was just testing him basically, and he passed it.
Casterly Rock now.
So he is. And enters the lists upon.
Believe
Tales grow in the telling, I know.
me that you were the soul of chivalry, and that one day the seven
Basically, he's trying to schmooze up Prince Baelor.
kingdoms would be safe.
Forgive my brother, sir. His sons went astray on the way here, and he fears for them.
I trust they will not be found dead.
No, Prince Dunk. What did the books used to say? Thick as a castle wall, thick as a lunk, or something. I don't remember. But he actually made that kind of joke here, reference to the books. Prince Baelor just gave him the nod and said, "We will allow you to enter the tourney." And so that's what just happened here. And now Makar's like, "Mother, what?" And then just some more little funny moments.
I'll see.
Now we're at the show.
A fool and a knight. I've never heard of such a thing.
Sweet lady, all men are fools, and all men
All
are
men are
last
fools, all
night.
men are knight. So now the show's over. Dunk and Egg are going to talk to her. Dunk's mainly just doing it just because, he's in love with her. He gives her some coin, but then he actually sees some good use out of it.
That was great.
Scenario.
How'd you do the fire tricks?
Oh, it's them. But
So in the previous scene with Prince Baelor, I actually skipped over it, but Prince Baelor says that since you are not of Sir Arlen's blood, that you have to get your own sigil, and that's what that last scene was. And so he's just here trying to talk to Tanzel Tutal, but then she says she can paint, and then he asks her to paint his new sigil, and that's pretty much the significance of the scene, as well as them finally meeting her,
I paint.
because she's going to be important in the next episode.
Could you paint something for me? I have the coin to pay. It's just...
And then they figure out what his sigil is going to be, which is the oak tree they're sleeping under right now, a shooting star, and the background has like a sunset color. And that's actually going to go on to be Dunk's sigil, which is what I said in my last episode. Remember, I said that if they're sleeping under a tree, they just see a shooting star and it's kind of sunset. This is going to play a big moment later. This ends up becoming his sigil. And it's just more of a cute, funny moment,
above. Could you do that?
And so she's now going to paint him a sigil on his screen.
Wait, the
Yes,
shield.
sorry.
Now they're kind of just talking about what happened, how Dunk fumbled the bag, and we'll see Sir Lionel Baratheon is going to enlist him to go to war. Not really, but...
Commonality. Everyone's always told me so.
Then we also have this moment where basically Egg is like, "Do you think I'll be a knight? I'm small, even small for my size now at this age. You're huge." And then, Dunk's like, "Well, you're smart." Dunk's like, "People call me stupid." And he's trying to give advice to Egg, but he actually butchers it, doesn't give him advice, and is like, "I worry about my own problems. You worry about yours." So they have this funny moment where he did not give any good advice to Egg. It's so good.
Everyone's always told me I was stupid.
And then Egg's like, "Okay, and what did you do? What's the advice you took? And give me that advice." And Dunk is literally just like, "Oh, I saw. Don't worry about what I did. It's my own problem." What?
And
Sir Lionel Baratheon has just recruited Dunk to go to do a tug of war, and we see Egg is here. It's funny. I wish they actually included a scene of him saying, "Hey, I want my squire to join me." Something like that. That's the concept. That not say that, but that's a concept because it shows that one, Dunk has a squire, two, that he's starting to get more comfortable with being a knight. So it's character development because now we're seeing he introduces himself as Sir Duncan the Tall. And it's like, now I have a squire. I want him to get experience. So I actually wish they would have said something about that. They didn't. Egg is just there and just.
Hey! Try those palms, you clam-handed cunt. We're not in your sister's chambers now. Ready?
Here's Egg. And literally, Sir Lionel, and we'll get to learn a little bit more about Sir Lionel because he literally just leaves them. He's like, I'm bored. I need a drink. And he literally just leaves in the middle of this to go get a beer. He comes back and helps him win, but he literally just leaves to go get a beer. And that shows his personality that he thinks that's okay and he's willing to do something like that, especially after he just recruited Duncan Egg.
Drowning your fastball! I'm thirsty, cunt.
Supposed to get a beer. Anyways, now they won. And we're off to our next little adventure with Dunk, where he goes to see Steely Pate the Armorer.
Jack Greaves and Greathelm. You jousting or working? Both, perhaps. That's all I want.
So basically, Steely Pate says, I'm not going to make you no fancy armor, none of this bull crap. I'm just going to make you armor that'll work. And he just gives him his price, and Dunk is like, whoa, I cannot do that. And he's like, well, give me what you have now, and then pay me the rest tomorrow before your joust. And so Dunk agrees, but he has to go he has to go sell his horse. And that's what happens here.
How much?
800 stack. Sell me worse to the next man.
You'll get it all back, I swear.
Now sell his horse. And it's actually a sad kind of
measure
moment.
of a fool I failed to meet.
But now what's so important about this is Dunk solidifying his plan. I'm literally going to sell my horse to get my goal, to get my plan. This is what I'm doing now. This is my life. This is what's going to happen. So he is serious about his ambition, and now the plan is officially in motion if it wasn't before, even though it has been, obviously, meeting these lords, telling them a story.
Might take me into its service. Perhaps even House Targaryen.
And Dunk is like, you think House Targaryen? Egg's like, do you think House Targaryen's going to employ a hedge knight?
You suppose the Dragon House employs like fishing?
And basically, this is where Sir Duskendale, Egg basically says Sir Duskendale's family owns half the crabbers in King's Landing, so the joke fell back on him.
Sorry.
Enough of that. I'll have you know, Sir Donald of the Kingsguard is but the son of a crabber.
Sir Donald of Duskendale?
Yep.
His father owns half the crabbing fleets in Westeros.
What?
And so now we are getting ready for the first part of the tourney. They don't really explain who the characters are. You can kind of see, like, one of them is Sir Lionel Baratheon, and then one of them is Vaelor Targaryen, who is actually Baelor's son. But they just kind of want to show basically this from Dunk's POV, because they want him to we want to see what's going through Dunk's head as he sees this. Is he going to get anxiety? Is he going to get excited? What is he thinking when he actually sees the first round of the tourney? That's Vaelor Targaryen, who is Baelor's son.
Hey, who's that?
Egg is just super excited because he wants to be in that. So we just saw, the first. I didn't want to show it just because YouTube, blah blah blah, but we just saw basically kind of like the first part of the first round, and Dunk's like, "Shoot, can I do this? Like, is this something I can actually do?" And now, they just broke their first lances, and some people got knocked off, but they're going for the next round, and the knights are calling their squire to bring them their lance, and Dunk is like, and now Egg is like, can I do that? Am my hands big enough? Am I big enough? And so basically, we see a little bit self-doubt in both of them. They're both enjoying it, but they're also like, this is my future. This is what I'm doing tomorrow. Because as of right now, their joust is tomorrow. Oh man! Now they're back at the camp, and this is kind of what I've alluded to earlier, where basically we end every episode back at the campsite, and kind of like they lay it down, what's next, essentially. And so this is where Dunk is like, man, Sir Arlen probably isn't necessarily the guy I thought he was, but oh well, I'm going to show them tomorrow that I'm going to be one of the best knights ever.
Splendid riding tonight.
Great knights live in the hedges and die by the side of a muddy road.
So he's questioning his life and Sir Arlen and this and that.
He had no friends either, were.
And that's pretty much what happens in this scene. That's the last scene. Now let's go on to the trailer. Which I think is right here. What the hell?
The squire.
Yeah, right here.
Must be strong.
Veal!
Oh, Meg, I can't even drink a pint of ale.
Yeah, because it's disgusting.
Oh, it's not disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Have you chosen an opponent yet?
I suppose Arian and I are quite equally matched.
So Dunk is actually like, I kind of want to fight Sir Arian. Raymond's asking him who he wants to fight. And Dunk is actually like, I kind of want to fight Arian. Like, honestly, we're equally matched because he's smaller than me, but he has extensive training, the best in the world. I'm bigger than him, but I have no training. So I think we're actually equally matched. And then Raymond's like, what the hell? The Targaryens are like, dude, you don't even want to mess with them. And I mean, it's kind of true because, like, if you unhorse a Targaryen, they're going to probably just kill you just because. So Raymond's like, why would you do that?
Vain and cruel. The Targaryens are tyrants who burned our lands, enslaved our people. They're incestuous aliens, Duncan.
So we see it looks like something big happened at the joust. We had the Kingsguard actually run out. People were like, oh my God, what happened? So it looks like something big happens at this joust. We see Egg here actually running with a lance. He's doing it. As supposedly, obviously, to give Dunk his lance.
The dragon don't never lose.
So we see Arian here, bloody. I won't spoil it too much, but we did see earlier in the season from another trailer that it was Dunk who made him bloody because he was breaking Tanzel Too Tall's finger. I won't explain what happens after that and all this and that. I won't go too much into it, but it's not a spoiler because we have seen that in the trailer. So this is because of Dunk. He has just hit a Targaryen. Whoa, what's gonna happen? And so this is where, like, finally things will start picking up in the story in this episode.
Fetch my armor.
Now?
Aye, now.
We just have a little funny moment. That's probably presumably before Dunk's joust. So I'm guessing he's gotten his armor from Steely Pate. Sweet. And I think that's everything we have inside the episode. with Ira Parker, who's the showrunner, writer. He was a writer on House of Dragon.
The reason Sir Arlen has what he has is because we spend the whole episode taking a shit on him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Ira Parker, to be honest, I don't know. There's some things he does that I don't necessarily agree with. And I feel like he just does them just because he thinks of it as world building, or he's trying to match some of this, vibe from Game of Thrones and House of Dragons. So he just does it. But honestly, I don't know. Some of it, it's kind of weird. But this is Ira Parker.
The flashbacks were actually the way that we were going to differentiate ourselves from the previous shows pretty quickly. Little, quick blips were very helpful. Moments of what I would call comedy.
He probably questions his whole way of life and questions whether Sir Arlen was the person that he looks up to. It was lovely to try and explore that, because I think it's the whole mentality of Dunk throughout the whole show. Is this the way you live, or am I supposed to live a different way? Should I be looking up to him the way I am? So I think that's really difficult for Dunk.
Sir Arlen was a great knight. Someone will remember him.
The whole tone of the Targaryen family is definitely different in this show to how perhaps we're expecting it to be.
Great honor to receive, Your Grace.
It's a great honor to be received.
Targaryens find themselves in a difficult situation because they don't have the thing that allowed them to stay in power for so long. And they haven't had it for a little while. They haven't had dragons. And so now they have to learn how to lead and rule in a different way.
Fuck me. Delay, they're not delayed.
Do not curse our gracious host.
I said fuck me, not fuck him.
Dunk spent all his life hearing stories about the Targaryen household, and especially Baelor. Sir Arlen has a lot to say about Baelor, that he's the epitome of chivalry.
Do you remember him, Your Grace?
Sir Arlen of Pennytree.
How can you possibly remember some fucking hedge knight?
He does remember Sir Arlen because he is interested in history. To some extent, it chimes with his ego. He can remember this man when others can't. He's a bit of a kind of train spotter of jousting.
Maekar is forever surprised by his brother's openness and compassion. I don't think Maekar is that interested in lowly subjects that exist in the kingdom.
You wish to enter the lists, is that it?
It's a sigh of relief, but also an emotional, prideful boost for Dunk. Everything that I've idealized about these people and these great knights, maybe there is some shred of truth to that.
Thank you again, Your Grace.
Do you think I'll ever make a knight one day?
Sure, why not? You're a likely lad.
I'm a bit puny.
We all have something that we don't like about ourselves. Dunk and Egg are no different. Dunk is a little bit older and has maybe made peace with it, although privately he gives himself a lot of shit for not being the smartest, most well-spoken person.
I need to paint something over the chalice.
Well, what would you want?
Egg is just like, Dunk, what on earth are you doing? I'm wanting to see the puppet show. I don't want to get embarrassed. Dunk's trying to make a good impression, but it's not going well.
Everyone's always told me I was stupid.
What did he do when people said you were stupid, sir?
What business is that of yours? My problems are my own.
The fact that Dunk doesn't quite understand what Egg is asking in that moment, I think is more indicative of how he has dealt with problems his whole life, which is that you have to figure out your own shit.
Well, it is slightly refreshing to hear of other insecurities, because I think Dunk is intimidated by Egg's intelligence massively. He knows a lot.
His father owns half the crabbing fleets in Westeros.
What?
The differences between those two insecurities also lend to a closer bond between each other. I think it's just the first time seeing what he is about to enter and seeing how formidable all these knights are.
It was crazy for Egg to actually see a real-life tourney, because he never watches this stuff. He thinks it's mind-blowing, all the people fighting.
Dunk is seen up close now, the competition. The chances of him winning are even more slight than he had previously imagined.
Just seeing the ferocity of the joust. Of course, that's going to fill him with a little bit of insecurity and leaves him feeling a little bit isolated.
Alrighty. Well, that was the episode. That was a breakdown, guys. I hope you liked it. I will definitely see you in the next one. Again, I'll be doing one for the next episode. I'll try to get one out this week too. I'll have to figure out what I want to do, but we'll see. But guys, if you've been liking this, please subscribe, please like, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see y'all in the next one.